पतिरावनचारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. I offer my humble obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees who are just like desire trees who can fulfill all the desires of the fallen conditioned souls, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. So thank you everyone for joining for this Bhagavad Gita study circle. Or I was hearing a class this morning, and one of the senior Vaishnava named Devakirandan Prabhu from Singapore, who is one of my teachers, was explaining that every moment, every moment, if it is not utilized, if the time is not utilized for something spiritual, it is going to run with something material, right? And I'm sure we all have experiences of that. Like this time you have chosen to study Bhagavad Gita, you are building eternal spiritual credits. And if we would have chosen not to come in this session, the time that 8 to 9, 8 to whatever, 8:40 would still pass, right? Time would still pass. It won't wait for us, right? So thank you for making that golden choice and giving your association. And it is said, even one studies one word of Bhagavad Gita, one letter of Bhagavad Gita, one will get so much benefit that one will not have to see Yamaraj. One will go back home, back to Godhead. So thank you for doing that. We are studying chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, entitled Purushottam Yoga, or the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Purusha Uttama. And this chapter, I think, has about 20 verses, right? Correct. About 20 verses, one of the smaller chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Many people memorize it also. And interestingly, this year, just in about 2 months, approximately 2 months or even less, the Purushottam month is going to come, which comes in, I think, 2.5 years approximately. And in that month also, this chapter should be recited. It's encouraged that we recite this chapter with 20 verses. So you all have already studied this chapter almost halfway through till text 12. So we are going to cover text 13 and 14 today and see some lessons from there. There are wonderful purports His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada has given. So without further delay, let's get into the chapter. Gamavisya cha bhutani dharyami ahamojasa Pushnami chaushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Will one or two devotees like to recite?
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. I can try Prabhupada.
Please.
Gama Vaishya cha Bhutani Dharayamam Ojasa Pusnami Chaushadhau Sarva Soma Bhutva Rasan Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can. I can do it. Hare Krishna, devotees. Gamavishya cha bhutani dharya dharyami aham ojasa usnami chausatihi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
Very nice. Yes, Radha Mataji.
गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यह ओजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Purport. It is to be understood that all the planets are floating in the air only by the energy of the Lord. The Lord enters into every atom, every planet, and every living being. That is discussed in the Brahma Samhita. It is said there that one plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, enters into the planets, the universe, the living entity, and even the atom. Andantarasta cha paramanu chayantarastam is present in planets, universe, living entity, and every atom. That Govinda, Brahma Samhita. So due to his entrance, everything is appropriately manifested. When the spirit soul is there, living man can float on water. But when the living spark is out of the body is dead. The body sinks. Of course, when it is decomposed, it floats again like the straw and other things. But as soon as the man is dead, he at once sinks in the water. Similarly, all these planets are floating in space. And this is due to the entrance of the supreme energy. Hare Krishna. Entrance of the supreme energy. We can do like mute on entry, something like that. Where was I? Floating in this space due to the supreme entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His energy is sustaining each planet just like a handful of dust. So I'll take a pause there just to digest what we have read. All these planets, right? Have we ever wondered how are they like their balls? Can a ball stay in the space? Right? When we were in childhood, we were making this solar system model. Either we will glue it or we'll have some kind of stapling or something. Like it cannot stay without just in the air, right? The sun, the moon, the different Earth, Mars, and so many other planets, the stars, how are they staying? And the distance between them is very, very scientific. It is said that if Earth is little closer to the sun, it will melt because of the heat. If it's a little far, it will freeze because of the cold. Who is maintaining that, that gravity, that inertia, that attraction force, right? Between the perfect distance. And have we heard, oh, Earth colliding with moon, moon colliding with sun? We hear cars colliding, though. This accident happened on this highway. This car collided with that. But we don't hear that this planet collided with that. Perfect system, perfect brain, right? The Supreme Lord, He is Dharyami. He is the one. Hmm? Gam Avishya cha Bhutani. He is present in Avishya, Aveshkya. Kisme bhuta, and all the living beings. Dharyami, dharan kiya. Dharan means to hold. He holds what? Dharyami aham. He's saying, Krishna is saying, I, by my ojas, by my energy, I'm holding. Not just holding, pushnami. He is doing poshan. He's nourishing. Where do we get our strength from? Where do we get our strength from? Right? We may say, oh, we eat food and then, some reactions happen. It releases glucose, energy, and molecules and ATP and all that. But where is the grains coming from? Oh, Shadha, the grains, all the grains he nourishes. How? Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. The moon supplies the juice in the vegetables. Soma is referring to the moon. So in the first segment, we read about how Krishna is the doer. Krishna is the creator. Krishna is the maintainer. He is the one who is in every aspect of life. If one cannot see God, then certainly one is spiritually blind. I was talking to one of my friends in a conversation. She is from a Christian background, but she was mentioning that, and she practices Hare Krishna a little bit. She was mentioning that I like this Krishna conscious culture and philosophy. Why? Because it does not say God is up there. You are here, God is up there. There's a big gap, right? He says you can see the hand of God in every aspect, right? He's present in you. He's present in present in every aspect of creation, whether it's a pen, whether it's a laptop, whether it's so any energy. स्थावर जंगम न देखी देखी तारा मूर्ति सर्वत्र होय इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. The person whose eyes are anointed with love of God see the hand of God in every aspect, whether it's fruits, vegetables, people, car, house, temple, anything and everything. He's there with us at all times. He's inside. Bahir Narsinga, Hridaye Narsinga, Ito Narsinga, Parato Narsinga, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsinga, wherever, right? We see he's there. So he is the maintainer. This section is talking about he is the maintainer. He does the poshan. So let's read a little bit more. If someone holds a handful of dust, there is no possibility of dust falling. But if one throws in the air, imagine if you have dust you throw in the air, it will all fall down. Similarly, these planets which are floating in the air are actually held by the fist of the universal form of the Lord. By His strength and energy, all the moving and non-moving things stay in their place. It is said in the Vedic hymns that because of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sun is shining and the planets are steadily moving. Were it not for Him, all the planets would scatter like the dust in the air. You throw dust in the air or some particles in the air, they all come down. The man-made satellites, we have heard a lot of times, they tried to release, it fell down. They tried to release or it didn't come down. They tried to release, it collapsed, right? So many accidents. And even if it is there is, there's a lot of resources and energy which goes behind the scene, which is also indirectly Krishna's energy. Because who is giving them the intelligence to release that satellite up in the air? That also is Krishna. He's giving the knowledge. He's giving the intelligence. He's supplying the resources. Similarly, it is due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the moon nourishes all the vegetables. So, Soma or moon has a very nourishing effect. it provides juices. Due to the moon's influence, the vegetables become delicious. Nowadays, there is hardly these real good farming practices used. Everything, is many things are grown in factories, so therefore they're not very delicious. The vegetables lack juices, the flowers lack the fragrance, right? And we are living in a crazy world, right? The flowers hardly have fragrance. Why? Because they are grown in artificial environments. The vegetables, due to GMOs and all these insecticides and pesticides, they're losing the contact of the nature. You may have seen or heard that in the many people on the day of Purnima, they put the kheer, the payasam, kheer, right, sweet rice outside, right, for the Lord to enjoy. That's one meaning, because the Lord does Rasa Leela. It's for his enjoyment, and at the same time, it by this by the cooling beams of the Purnima Soma or the full moon, it becomes even more nectarian. So all the vegetables, the juices are coming, the taste is coming from the sun and the moon. The sun helps in the poshana. It makes them ripe, right? If the sun is not there, imagine our life. Imagine there'll be no fruits, vegetables, etc. And so is the moon so important. We may not be realizing this because we are living, away from nature. When was the last time, we saw moon at peace? Think about it. And not, you may have seen yesterday, that's fine. But think about it, right? We lose contact with the nature so much. If someone asks, like these days, where does the kids asking kids this question, where does the milk come from? They'll say, oh, it comes from Publix, or it comes from Walmart, right? Because they have not seen that the milk comes from cows. The milk comes from cows or buffaloes or things like, other such. They have not seen that. It's not their fault. In India, they say the milk comes from Mother Dairy. You put the token, you get the milk. Okay? I mean, I should have seen that. The Mother Dairy is like a milk brand or a milk vendor in India. So point is, we should stay in close touch with nature, right? Especially like here in Florida, we get to see a lot sun, moon, etc. It's called the sunshine state. So when we see the sun and the moon, we can remember these are the eyes of the Supreme Lord. The sun rises by the orders of the Supreme Lord. The moon is nourishing. When we see these, we see the hand of God. When we see the planets, the stars, we see, oh, Krishna is holding them. So in every aspect, these chapters are telling us that we should see the hand of God in every aspect. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And one who does so, yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. One who sees me in everything and everything in me, I'm never lost to him. He's never lost to me. That's Krishna's promise. God is not up there only. Yes, He is up there in Goloka. Yes, absolutely. But Bhakti, Yoga, process, Srila Prabhupada, the Gita, the Bhagavatam are teaching us to see the hand of God in every aspect. One time, who was this guy who went to the space the first time? It was Yuri Gagarin or someone, right? So someone asked him, he went to a school. He was not like a big follower of God, more like atheistic, agnostic. So he went to a school to give some speech. I went there and did like a miracle, first person to go up there. And someone asked him, hey, I've heard people saying God is up there. In childhood, when we say, oh, where is God? Oh, God is up there, right? Many kids say innocent, right? Bhagwan ka hai upar, upar, right? In Hindi, they say upar wala, right? That's where it's coming from. So he said, "Oh, Yuri, you went to the space. Did you see God?" He said, "No, I've traveled all across the globe. Down, नीचे भी नहीं मिले, ऊपर भी गया, वहां भी नहीं मिले. So there is no God." The teacher, who was a devotee and a firm believer of God, when he left the room, he said, if he could not see God here, how will he see God there? Right? Because you need that eye. You need that eye. And this is what the Krishna consciousness process is all about, to develop Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means to be conscious of Krishna at all times, right? When we see the planets, when we see other people, when we see a pen, when we see a laptop, to use things for the purpose they are intended for, keeping Krishna as the center is basically, bhakti. Use our body, use the laptop like we are using right now, laptop, phone, whatever gadget all of you are using, right? There could be other so many non-productive uses as well, but you're using it for Krishna consciousness. That's bhakti. So, reading a few more lines. So vegetables become tasty and succulent. Human society is working, living comfortably, and enjoying food due to the supply of this from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, mankind would not survive. Can we imagine life without sun? Life without moon? Impossible. We may take them for granted, but imagine we all get electric bill, whatever, $100, $200, something like that, every month, huh? Not every year. Imagine if sun sends us a bill of all the sunlight we have consumed. Sunlight, heat. Imagine the heat he's provided. A heat bill in the it's so high in the cold areas. It would be thousands and thousands of dollars, right? But Krishna is so kind. All the rasa, and these are just some of the aspects, the sun and the moon. In every aspect of life, we are completely dependent on the Supreme Lord. In the next verse, we will learn we can't even digest the food on our own. It is Krishna, the Agni, with which we can digest. Otherwise, we are totally dependent. We think, oh, ahamkara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. We think a foolish person thinks, I'm the doer. I can do this. But we forget there is a hand of God. Everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord through the influence of the moon. If we forget the hand of God, everything will collapse. But there's so many examples. The food will not be palatable, the body will collapse, the sun and the moon, if not there, we cannot sustain at all. The society will not function. In short, if someone still feels, oh, there is no God, what to say of that person? Who made the sun and moon, right? Any comments before we move to the next verse? We'll take one more verse, but any thoughts or comments so far? Anyone has in text number 13? Anything struck you so far?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderfully explaining, especially the thing you mentioned. The sun, moon, they're uninterruptedly giving us their service. And as you mentioned, even we cannot digest our own food without that Jataragni. And some people are facing so much digestion. Even some people take medicine to sleep also. Without basic sun, like moon and jet tracking, all these things, we cannot. So we are so indebted for all that Krishna is providing us. So we have to show at least a basic our seva, so that we should not be always just taking. We should always be giving. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, we must express our gratitude. And that's the whole bhakti process. In the beginning, most people come to God because they are in need of something. My child is sick. I'm not getting a job. My father is very sick. Something like. But when we see the mood of pure devotees, like the gopis of Vrindavan, they want to see how can I remove the pain of the Lord. Remove the pain of the Lord. Is the Lord pain? Basically, help in the Sankirtan movement. Like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially come. He's saying, I'm just one Mali. I need your help. I need your support. So that the seeds of bhakti can grow in all directions. Prithiviti yache nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hoy moranam. So beautiful point, Prabhu, that we must see how we can be part of the solution. And of course, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that anyone who gives this message to others, to the message of Gita, is very, very dear to me. The message can be given through distributing books, prasadam, classes, temple, centers, deities, cultivating good relationships, telling them about the process of bhakti, reading, chanting, going to holy places, Shravanam, Kirtanam, having these study groups. It's amazing. So that we nurture ourselves and then become a via medium to share that with others. That's the whole mission of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. Here's a quick visual which sums up these two verses. So in the text 13, we're talking more about the universal aspect, right? How he's holding the planets, how he is providing the juice of life, and all these fruits, vegetables, which we are dependent every day, we don't realize the water, the sun, the moon. Where is it all coming from? Who is the hand? Who is the person? Govindam Adipurusham. He is the Sarva Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He is the source of all sources. He is the intelligence of all the intelligent. So one must never forget Krishna. One must never forget and become Kritaghana. One should become Kritagya. Kritagya means to know what someone has given. Always remember, if someone gives us something, we should always remember, acknowledge, and reciprocate to the best we can. But Ghana means to kill, to kill the spirit that God is giving us something. That is called ungratitude. And that has no space in bhakti or even in life. Gratitude and humility are not the details of spiritual life, they are the essence. They are the core principles. If one wants to make spiritual progress, one should always be grateful. Grateful to Krishna, grateful to others, grateful to teachers, grateful to parents, friends, anyone and everyone who has even of little help, directly or indirectly, in our journey. God gives, and forgives. We get, and forget. right? He's so kind. He's not asking, hey, I've been supplying sun to you for 35 years. Here's your bill, past due. Otherwise, I'm sending you court notice, right? If you don't pay electric bill or tax bill or whatever, they'll not leave, right? Past due and delinquent and court notice and right, all that. But Krishna forgives. But we should not be so forgetful. We should do our part. Okay, let's quickly read one more verse. Text number 14. Very nice verse. Ham Veshwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayukta Pachami Annam Chaturvidham. Maybe one or two would like to recite who have not recited yet.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita 15.14. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Asritaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachame Annam Chaturvidham. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Very cool. Very nice. Anyone else wants to recite one more devotee and then we'll move on. Please try.
I can recite, Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayukta Panchamya Anam Chaturvidham.
Very cool. This verse is very important because this involves everyday activity, which all of us do every day, which is digesting food. So we cannot forget this verse. His Grace Visheshika Prabhu, whenever he's doing the first grain ceremony, Annaprashana, he always recites this verse. Even in the Samskara book, it is mentioned that this is the verse to be recited for the Annaprashana and the fire of digestion begins. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the fire, with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuffs. Here's a small purport. According to Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach which digests all food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger. And when the fire is in order, we become hungry. Sometimes when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. Has anyone experienced that? When the fire is not nice, whatever we eat, it just comes out, right? Loose motions and so many, even if you eat the best of the foods, the fire is not there, it will not absorb, right? And as well as Radhanath Swami Maharaj, it links it to spiritual life also. We have to have the fire of bhakti. If the fire is not there, you may hear the best class from the best devotee. It will not absorb very deeply. Why? Because we see, chalta hai, ka kaam hai bolna, hamara kaam hai sunna. They'll talk, we'll hear, forget, right? But when someone feels this is my life and death, my life is short, I don't know when I'm going to pass away, right? It applies to everyone. And this is my real nectar, Harinam, Vaishnav Sangha, Bhagavad Katha, Gita Shlokas. This is everything. This is my real poshana. This is my sustenance, as we discussed in the last verse. Then that hearing will be different. Then that chanting will be different. Then that absorption in Sadhu Sangha will be different. The famous story of this, this Dhundakari, right? Dhundakari got a ghostly body, and when his brother was giving class, everyone was hearing, but he was hearing as if his life depends on it. Now imagine a person who has cancer, 4th stage, last stage. The doctor says, hey, here is your medicine. Don't forget, 2 tablets in the morning, 2 tablets in the evening. 1 tablet you forget, 1 time you'll be gone. Will you forget? You can't dare not forget. But how many of us, we may take some tablets or some general like vitamins and stuff, and we forget all the time. Raise your hand if you forget to do yoga or take tablets or something, which you know is good, but we forget. Why? Because there is not that so much hunger. Chalo, le liya, okay, nahi liya. Okay. But that person won't forget because the life, it means his lifetime. So similarly, we should also be hungry. Laulyam ekamulyam. We should be hungry for spiritual life. When there is no hunger, right? That means we need treatment, right? When the fire is not going, what is the treatment? The treatment is also the same. In this case, take more association of sincere devotees, enthusiastic devotees, go to holy place, absorb for a few days. So in any case, the fire is representative of the Supreme Personality of God. The Vedic mantras from Brihad Aranyak Upanishad 591 also confirm that the Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of foodstuffs. Ayam Agnir Veshwanaro Yoyam Anta Purushe Yenedam Annam Pachyate. So, this Agni is Veshwanaro, as we read here also. Agni Veshwanara. So, have you heard of this Agni Jatharagni? Right? Jatharagni, or the fire of digestion, it's same as the Veshwanara Agni. So in the body, there are 13 different types of Agni. The prime Agni is this Agni called Jatharagni, also known as Veshwanara Agni, which is the fire of digestion. So when, sometimes we have this, you say like the stomach is growling, we are feeling hungry, right? So you remember Krishna at that time. Oh, this Vaishwanara. Krishna says, I'm that Agni, right? Krishna is making that noise through that Agni. So it's a good way to remember. When we drink water, Krishna says, Rasoham apasu kaunteya. I'm the taste of water. When we consume vegetables in the form of prasad, we feel something tasty. Oh, this aloo sabji, this paneer pakoda, whatever. We should remember, oh, Krishna, I learned in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna, through the moon, through his agencies, provide the taste in the fruits and vegetables. So we can remember Krishna. See, Gita, this direct Krishna conscious service is what we are doing now is direct Krishna conscious activity, like reading Bhagavad Gita. When we go in the outside world, having our lunch, whether in the office, school, or at home, that's also Krishna conscious activity, but maybe it's indirect, you can say. Everyone eats, but how many remember Krishna at that time? Right? Everyone gets hungry. How many remember Krishna at that time? So Bhagavad Gita teaches us the art to make ordinary into extraordinary, to make material into spiritual consciousness, matter to spirit. Every aspect of life. So then there are 5 Bhuta Agnis, Prithvi Agni, Apa Agni, etc. And there are 7 Dhatu Agnis. There are 7 Dhatus, Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, etc. So there are 7 Agnis. And let's read further. There are 5 Vayus. 2 are mentioned here. Okay, so we were here. It also confirms the Supreme Lord in the form of fire within the stomach is digesting the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Okay, we read that. Everyone knows the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Therefore, since he is helping, right? Okay, it's going to come. Let's complete the, yeah, it's going to come in later. He's helping the digestion of all kinds of foodstuffs. The living entity is not independent in the eating process. Very important line. If someone thinks, oh, I'm independent, I don't need God, even God is helping in the eating process. The food we intake, the food it goes down through the esophagus, the food pipe, and it goes, so many complex digestive system is there, right? So many juices, enzymes, and secretions. So it all works out like a complex factory going on inside, is it not? Right? We are not independent, even in the eating process. Prabhupada is clearly writing here. If we were independent, then there would be no digestive issues. We know that the stomach is right, most of the problems begin from there. That's the root. And then there'll be no diseases if people were independent, but there is a hand of God in every aspect. Unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces and digests foods. So food cup production, Krishna is involved. The growth, Krishna is involved. Making it nice and succulent and palatable, Krishna is involved. Digesting, Krishna is involved. And we say, I'm the doer. Isn't that interesting? And by His grace, we are enjoying the life. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is confirmed. Shabda Dibhyo Anta Pratishtanacha. The Lord is situated within the sound and within the body, within the air, and even within the stomach as the digestive force. There are 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked up, and some are sucked. And He is the digestive force for all of them. He is the digestive force for all of them. So as we were seeing here in this interesting, so he's the Vaishnava Nara Agni, right? He resides there in every atom. And these are the 4 kinds of foodstuffs, right? It comes in the Mangalarti prayers also. The spiritual master assists the disciple in cooking these different preparations and offering it to the Lord, to Krishna. So here's another interesting visual which summarizes these, the internal fire. And there are Pranavayu and Apanvayu. There are other 2 Vayus also, Samana, Uddana. So this one is responsible for, the different Vayus are responsible for different functions of the body, like ingestion, release, movements of different airs. When these are disturbed, one faces problems. And who is controlling, maintaining? Krishna says, I'm the controller, I'm the maintainer, I'm the digestive fire, I'm the one who's supplying the rasas. So we should never feel I'm independent. We should never feel, oh, I don't need God. I'm rich, I can figure it out. If that was the case, then rich people would not get any diseases. Their health would be perfect. They would not even die. So just to summarize here, we learned how we are totally dependent on the Supreme Lord. So one should be humble. One should offer gratitude. One should acknowledge. One should thank Krishna through his body, mind, and words. Krishna is maintaining our body, our mind, the food we are eating, the family, the sun, the moon, the Agni, fire. the pranavayu, the apanavayu, the body we have, everything, we are totally dependent on him. Mm. He is holding the planets. He is nourishing the food and the vegetables. So next time when we see all these, we will remember Krishna. And next time, we'll be more grateful to the Supreme Lord. And the best way to be grateful to the Lord is to chant Hare Krishna and share with others. And Subal Prabhu requested me to share some thoughts on the temple, which ISKCON Tampa community is so nicely coming together and planning to make this offering to Srila Prabhupada in the mood of the servant. So getting the temple, doing the needful to build the community, to make a place where people are welcomed, people learn the spiritual culture, keeping Krishna as the center in their heart, in their lives, in their family, and become a educational institute, because the world is going towards hellish path very fast. So there is need for hundreds and hundreds of devotees to have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of temples in every city and village, as Lord Chaitanya said, in every town and village. Prithivityachi nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoy mora nam. And how will that happen? That will happen when everyone takes this message to the heart and soul and understands the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understands the mood of Srila Prabhupada, how he sacrificed his life. He could have been very nice, peaceful in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan at the age of 70 plus years, but he traveled across the globe in 12 years, about 12 times, in 10 years, about 12 times or 14 times, and built 108 temples. Now ISKCON has 1,000 plus temples and centers, and more are coming in US, in India, and all across the globe. So this is beautiful, and we request everyone to help and do what they can through body, through mind, through prayers, through support, in any way one can render, and prayers and everything, tan, man, dhan, whatever way we can do, one should support, and it will be very nice offering to Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to pause and leave some room for some thoughts and questions or comments. We covered these two verses today, 15.13 and 15.14, which talk about how Krishna is maintaining us, the sun, the moon, the vegetables, the fire of digestion, and so many other aspects. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji.
Let's take some thoughts or some take home. We have a few minutes to, if everyone can share something struck them, or you can speak or type. What is your take home or what is your application from today's discussion? It'll be very nice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So very nice discussion, especially on the digestion, which we're always struggling with. So it's important to, when we eat, that we don't eat full, right? It's we got to leave some air, and that air of digestion helps with the fire. So and Prabhupada always that's something he mentioned. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Okay. Now, this is a big topic. My wife does Ayurveda classes also. But just in simple words, if you imagine, like you have a mixer blender, right? We all have at home. Even they have simple warning. Hey, don't fill up to the brim, right? If you fill up to the brim and then how will it grind? There's no room to grind. Imagine you stuff up everything with potatoes or whatever, tomatoes, or tomatoes are still, they have a lot of air in between, right? But imagine filling with potatoes or like chickpeas and there's no room to digest it. So, in short, we should eat a simple rule for good health and good digestion. Eat when you are hungry. Very simple. When you're not hungry, everyone is eating, you don't have to eat, right? Just because everyone is hungry. Everyone, we are all individuals. Every finger is different, their body is different. Maybe they didn't eat breakfast, so they're very hungry, they're eating little extra. That's fine because, but we had a heavy breakfast and everyone is eating lunch. Oh, heavy lunch, horrible, right? It we'll have to face consequences. Yes, it is prasad. It is transcendental. We can take a little bit, right, to honor the prasad, right? But so yeah, we should be careful. We should leave some room for air to work and for the water, the fluids, and not stock it up with the heavy solids. And simple rule, there are more problems by overeating and very little by undereating. In fact, fasting is encouraged in our culture. We have so many fasting days in the spiritual culture, and even there are scientific proofs on how it helps us to, you know, reduce extra fat, reduce bad cells and cancerous cells, and they naturally die if they are starved. So in that way also fasting is good. So one should do based on one's again body and desires. Very well. Very nice thought. Yes, Prabhu, Sai Ram, Prabhu, you unmuted, please. Anyone else has a comment or a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice class, Prabhu, about Krishna is the cause of all causes, and without sun, moon, and uh, what another?
Addition.
Yes, Prabhu. So that one is so essential, and Krishna is the sun, he is the moon, he is the provider, he is the maintainer. And Prabhuji, from my childhood also, I read this word Jatharagni. So now, why it's called fire inside the stomach for our digestion? So why it is called fire? It's not that heat inside our stomach, right? It's a 37 degree centigrade temperature. But why it's called Agni? That's what I just would like to know if you have any thoughts on that.
The element, Mataji, right? Our body is made up of Panchma Bhuta, right? Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham. So primarily the 5 gross elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So this body is nothing but a combination of those elements. So we have air inside the body, right?
Yeah.
We have Bhumi element. Now some elements are like bone. It has more Bhumi element. It is stronger, right? Like flesh, you can press it, right? It is not as hard. So the element, now what percentage, like solid, liquid, gas, in the physics also we study, right? The molecules, their spacing, and therefore all that stuff. But our body is a lot more, some elements, they are fluid, some are permeable, semi-permeable. The body is very complex, but primarily made up of these 5 elements. So the Agni element, it is being referred. The Apa element, the Vayu element, the Kham element, these are elements there in the Panchamahabhut. So there are different Agnis. As I mentioned, there are 13 Agnis. Jatharagni is the prime Agni, which is responsible for the digestion of the food. Imagine like a furnace, right? In the furnace or in a factory to digest or to churn, right? Some heat is required, is it not?
Yeah.
To burn it into smaller, particles and to get the energy out of it. Like even the coal is burnt to get energy out of it and used for other things, right? Coal thermal power plant, I worked there for 4 years. So our body, we consume grains, they get digested and broken into smaller particles, and then the heat, works, and then the energy nourishes our body. You are a PhD, you know more all this. That's how this works. But ultimately, it works through the hand of God. There are chemical reactions and all that. That is secondary, but it is Krishna's hand, right?
Yes.
So that's the Agni. That's why the 5 elements, one of them is Agni. Therefore, it's called the Agni. The heat is, and it has to be balanced, right? We know if the temperature of the body it goes up, then it's a disease condition. If the temperature goes down, it's a further disease. Thande pad gaye, the end, dead, right? As Prabhupada said, the body will start sinking. So a balance is required of all these airs also. Food also. We're not saying to not eat. Eating in balance, moderation. That is the secret of success. Yogo bhavati dukkha. That person will be free from disease and free from any dukkha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very well. Okay. Shall we pause here? Is that the time? Subal Gopal Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let's all say 3 times Haribol to worship us.
Haribo.
Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol.
Thank you.
Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Jai Samavita Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki
Jai.
Jai Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.